Next up, we're going to bring another person to share a story. Has anybody ever heard of Reza Aslan? Yes, I knew we would get that reaction. Reza Aslan is an internationally acclaimed writer, commentator, and scholar of religions. How many people here have seen him on TV before? Yes, indeed. He is the author of the #1 New York Times best-selling book, Zealot, The Life and Times of Jesus in Nazareth. Look for his upcoming show on ABC of Kings and Prophets. Can we please give him a warm MPV welcome? This is where you start applauding. He goes by the name of Reza Aslan.
Thank you so much. My name is Islam Behery. I am a prominent Muslim researcher in Islamic studies and the host of a controversial TV show in Cairo, Egypt. On this show, I engage in discourse on modern-day issues stemming from traditional conservative interpretations of Islam. As a free thinker and law school graduate, I have always advocated research, critical inquiry, and philosophical discussions of theology that promote pluralism and reform. On my show, I encourage the Egyptian people to engage in ijtihad, the idea that one should rely on independent and individualistic reasoning to interpret the Quran and Islamic law, rather than accepting sectarian ideologies or stilted dogmas. One of these ideologies, Salafism, is an extremely conservative interpretation of Islam. I question the teachings of Salafi preachers and debate the credibility of widely accepted interpretations of texts that support cultural practices and traditions which run contrary to the ideals of mercy and compassion embodied in the Quran. I contend that these interpretations must be discarded, that they are often upheld by prominent religious institutions like Al-Azhar University in Cairo, and that they are often used to promote extremism. Al-Azhar's response was to file a lawsuit against me for, quote, broadcasting ideas that violate the foundations of Islam and its legacy. This was followed by an order from the General Authority for Investment to my TV station to shut down my show. And on April 22nd, the TV channel suspended the show. A few days later, I was accused of, quote, deliberately aiming to make people question their beliefs, for promoting the revolutionary concepts of reason and logical thought, concepts which the Quran emphasizes repeatedly and emphatically. I was arrested, charged with defamation of religion, and sentenced to 5 years in prison by a misdemeanor court. You see, in Egypt, there is a law that stipulates that those who publicly use religion to instigate strife and division or disdain and contempt for any of the revealed religions or the sects belonging thereto must be sentenced to 6 months to 5 years in prison. The good news is that the sentence was preliminary and I was allowed to appeal the verdict. At my appeal, my lawyer argued that the Holy Quran itself calls for logical thought. It is not prohibited for any person to discuss the scholar's opinions because it is not possible for an opinion that was stated 700 or 800 years ago on a specific issue to be implemented on an issue in modern times. And while that argument was succinct and utterly rational, it wasn't enough to overturn the sentence. On December 28, 2015, I was sentenced to a year in prison for inciting, quote, sedition, distorting the religion, and endangering the youth of the nation. I assume by endangering the youth of the nation, they meant encouraging free thought. That is the price of freedom of conscience in Egypt. On January 26th, I will be in court again. A new judge will sit on my case, one that does not have a Salafi background. But life in prison has taken its toll on me, and I have not been in the best of spirits lately. After all, how can I find justice when Egypt is the country of injustice? I am unable to explain the amount of horrors and farce I have been going through regarding this issue. We are moving far, far, far backwards. What is coming is much worse. What is coming is beyond imagination. That is my story. My name is Islam Behery.